What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. And if you guys can't tell, I'm losing my voice a little bit. Listen, it was an exciting night last night. We had a great live stream. We're here to talk about Patrick Williams' big game, the Bulls' finish of the regular season, and preparing for our playoff matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks. We'll get into all that, and you guys know some more right after the intro.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
All right, Bulls fans. So, fellow fans, the Bulls had their regular season finale last night against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Patrick Williams and Ayo Patrick having basically career nights. Now, yes, Ayo Patrick had a bunch of turnovers. There were some things that happened in that game that we didn't like. We saw the same down third quarter, giving up 40 points in the third quarter. Things like that we've typically seen from the Chicago Bulls. But the story of tonight is always going to be Patrick Williams' career night and the aggression in which Patrick Williams showed. And even in the post-game interviews, even Billy Donovan talking about how Patrick Williams is going to have to be aggressive. And we know that's been one of the biggest knocks on Patrick Williams for a lot of his detractors, who say they don't see that superstar potential in Patrick Williams. They talk and usually go to the lack of aggression, specifically offensively. And, yes, as a 20-year-old possible phenom, you do want to see more games like we saw last night. You want to see it against better competition, outside of just against Minnesota's, basically B team, because both teams were sitting so much. But Patrick Williams does have to learn to be aggressive, and he does have to, take a snapshot of this, the essence that he played with in this game, and really turn that into something that he can use over the course of his career, over the course, hopefully, in the next playoff series, but really key in on that. And that's what's going to take the Chicago Bulls to the next level. I know I talk about Patrick Williams' detractors, but to talk about the people who do see the potential in Patrick Williams, and they see, hey, Patrick Williams may eventually be the best player on the Chicago Bulls team. He has the potential to do so. We'll maintain and see if it actually comes to fruition. But this game goes a long way in showing why he can be that. Patrick Williams with that great three-point shot. Hey, it's a beautiful shot. It's basically a textbook. Shout out to Pat, the designer from the Windy City Breeze, my co-host on Locked On Bulls, who said that it's basically a textbook three-point shot. He has the form, everything. Now, I would like to see the release get a little bit quicker, but at the end of the day, Patrick Williams shoots the three-pointer at a nice clip as far as a percentage-wise. Now, we need to see it a little bit more consistently from Patrick Williams. But, taking a look at this game, taking a look at just Patrick Williams and how this season progressed for Patrick Williams after he returned from injury, we've seen a lot of things from Patrick. We've seen a lot of flashes. There are a lot of Bulls fans who did not see him being a power forward, who didn't see what he would really give out on the boards. But those things has really come around for Patrick Williams over the course of the season. He's showing the flashes of everything that you want to see from him. This game is going to be one that stays in our mouths, and we leave the taste in that mouth for a while. Well, let's see how long, because with the postseason coming and with the Chicago Bulls opponent, we'll see how much positivity stays around this team. But overall, this game was a great game to see from Patrick Williams. It was great to see him being aggressive. Patrick Williams' regular season stats over the course of this season: 17 games he played with a 48% three-point shooting percentage this season. Yes, Patrick Williams shot the ball 48% from the three-point range this season. They had a field goal percentage of over 50% as well. The 50, 40, 90. That is the question that a lot of people ask. Can Patrick Williams develop into that? Now, the 90, that has to come from the free throw shooting percentage. We haven't seen that. First year in the league, it was 72%. This year it was 66%, took a slight decline. So we haven't seen that he can, the 90 part of it. But the 50, even last year in his rookie season, 48% shooting overall from the field, 39% from three-point range. Now, again, we need to see him shoot it at a higher clip. This season and last season, as far as the three-point attempts per game, are right around the same per game. So we, of course, want to see that. And we understand this season we didn't get to see optimal Pat Williams because of the injuries, and coming into the season with the injury, then getting injured 5 games into the season, things like that. But can Patrick Williams develop into the 50, 40, 90 player? If he can, he's absolutely going to be one of the best, if not the best player on the team. One thing we're also seeing from Patrick Williams develop is that court vision, is that passing. And I said it before in the live stream. I would not. I don't know if it happens this playoff series, especially playing the defending champions. I don't know if they make such a drastic change. But as we go into the offseason, as we add more players, as we build this team, as Billy Donovan hopefully makes adjustments to his system, the game plan, I would like to see more playing through Patrick Williams and Lonzo Ball for that matter. I don't want to forget that because I know some people are going to go crazy in the comments about that. But Patrick Williams has so much potential, and we're just barely scratching the surface. Keep in mind, Patrick Williams is going to be younger than rookies coming into the league for the next 2 years. He's going to be younger than rookies coming into the league for the next 2 years, at least, if not longer. So Patrick Williams is barely scratching the surface of what he has, and this postseason may jumpstart his development, and we may get a more aggressive Patrick Williams and somebody who realizes not only he needs to be aggressive, but the size and athleticism he has and how some fours just can't match up with him. That's what we need to see going forward from Patrick Williams. It was great to see this game. Ayo Patrick as well with a career night. Troy Brown Jr. with a great night as well. Tony Bradley played like the thing with Tony Bradley that I will say that surprised me. Tristan Thompson came in setting the tone physically, and Tony Bradley came in keeping that same thing going. Now, he did still have some plays that you're just like, is this guy really a basketball player with the Butterfingers? But outside of that, Tony Bradley being aggressive as well with 11 points, 8 rebounds, 1 assist in only 15 minutes. That is what people hoped that we were going to get from Tony Bradley. Now, again, I don't think he's going to be back on this team. I think he needs to go to a team that can afford to give him 25, 28 minutes every night, regardless of how he's playing. Same thing with Troy Brown Jr. Troy Brown Jr. with 40 minutes, 17 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, 2 steals in this game. Again, those players are still young and they still have a lot of potential. But I wonder how much the Bulls are going to have time to try to cultivate that potential, considering that they're going to try to get to contending as quick as possible. And I do think that this team is going to replace, they're going to look, I think, I've said this before, Troy Brown Jr., Malcolm Hill, Tony Bradley, maybe even Derrick Jones Jr. just because of the contract, things like that. Tristan Thompson, those players may be gone next season. And I think they're going to replace those players with more consistent veterans that they know what they can get out of. But let me be clear here. It was good to see, again, in trash time, I know there are going to be people in the comments, how much can you really learn from a player playing against a guard? Yeah, nobody's saying, and this is the thing that intelligent basketball fans can have a discussion on. It's not about replicating the impact that they had in this. It's replicating the style in which, like Patrick Williams' being aggressive in this game. That is something that should and could be replicated anywhere. Tristan Thompson's aggression and activity and physicality, right, should be something he attempts to do in every minute he's on the court against the Milwaukee Bucks. Things like that. If Troy Brown Jr. is called on in the playoffs, Troy Brown Jr. played some really good defensive minutes as well. You know, the rebounds and the points will get the most notice, but some really good defensive rotations. The activity, Ayo Patrick, he needs to get those turnovers down. 7 turnovers overall in a night where the Bulls had 21 turnovers. It's not great at all. 22 assists on 44 made baskets as well for the Chicago Bulls. But it's not to have the same scoring output. It's not to have that same output, but it's to bring in the nature in which, the aggression in which that you played in this game, and how can you apply that for your career, especially for Patrick Williams, especially for Ayo Patrick, who Ayo hit some big clutch threes for us in a game that we let get down a 28-point lead at the halftime, get down a little as 1 at one point in this game. Those are the type of things that can be duplicated and can be done as far as the focus, the activity, the aggression. Those are the things that we want to see from this Bulls team and Patrick Williams heading in to the postseason. And before we go, let's talk about that postseason game. The Bulls against the Milwaukee Bucks, first round of the playoffs. It starts this Sunday coming up. Game time has not been determined right now. What should we expect from our Chicago Bulls? It's really, the Bulls have been so up and down, it's really hard to say what you expect from a play style from them. I understand the people who are like, the Bulls are going to be easy first round sweep exit. I understand the people who say, hey, if the Bulls play scrappy, they play with focus, they come in, ball movement, that they can make this an interesting series. I understand the Bulls fans that say, I just don't want to see my team blown out every game. I want to see them compete heading into the offseason with things that they can build and learn on. Regardless of where you fall on that spectrum, this playoff series is important for the Bulls for a few different reasons. Win-loss, no, that's not necessarily the most important thing in this. If the Bulls can pull up an upset against the Milwaukee Bucks, guarantee, listen, Bulls Nation is going to go crazy for that. And nobody, I think, is going to say, let's not do that. But even if the Bulls, and looking like the Bulls can't get past the defending champions in the playoff series, it's the lessons that are learned. It's learning what playoff basketball is like for Zach Levine, for Ayo Dosunmu, for Patrick Williams. Like it's learning what that means, what it takes to play playoff basketball. Those type of things are important. We've seen getting a playoff series, regardless of what the outcome is, can jumpstart players' development. Can that happen for the Chicago Bulls? What type of thing do they give the coaching staff? What do they do? Does seeing Patrick Williams and his ability to run the offense what does that do for a coaching staff heading into the offseason if they do try to go to it at any point in this offseason? This series is important for the Bulls outside of just what the outcome of it is. It's important how they play in this playoff series. It's important the lessons they learn from this playoff series as being a really young team where a lot of our long-term pieces are still extremely young and inexperienced. Lonzo Ball is already going to miss out on this opportunity, unfortunately. But the Bulls that are going to be here for years to come can really take this and use this to get those playoff lessons early. Zach LaVine is 9 years into his NBA career, and this is his first time doing it. So the fact that Patrick Williams in his second year, the fact that Ayo Dosunmu in his first year, the fact that Kobe White in his, is this the third year for Kobe White? The fact that they can use that to see what they can do, to see how they measure up against the defending champion, can go a long way in building some chemistry for this team. Can go a long way in the way that AK and Eversley need to revamp this team some going into the offseason. Can they establish Vooch down low in the post? It's going to be difficult. Right? It's going to be difficult. I don't think anybody looks at that as a cakewalk, but Billy Donovan has to have a concerted effort to try to do it. And Vooch has to play up to that and use the most of the opportunities that are given to him to play effectively. Ball movement. We can't have the DeMar DeRozan 5 pump fakes at the free throw line and try to get a foul in the bucket. We can't. That can't be our offense in the playoffs. It may be, right? Because who's to say that anything's going to change? We'd be crazy to think it's just all of a sudden going to change because the playoffs, it's the playoff time. But looking at all that, what can this Bulls team realistically do? I want to hear from you guys. Let me know your playoff expectations, whether, again, not just the win-loss. What are some of the things you want to see this team, these players, learn from this playoff series against the defending champion Milwaukee Bucks? What are some of those expectations? What are some of the things you want to see? How excited are you for our players to get this playoff experience? Let me know all that down below. I know this season has been so up and down, and more down lately than up ever. But Bulls Nation, we're in the playoffs. And it's going to be a fun thing to watch, hopefully, right? Hopefully this is fun to watch and not just a massacre every night, because it could be. But hopefully we get a fun series to watch from our Chicago Bulls. That's it for me for today, guys. You guys are going to still get your episodes from me this week. I got some exciting things planned with some exciting guests. I can't wait to bring you guys what I have planned for this week until we get Bulls basketball back. Let me also know down below if there's anything you would like to see me go. And this is your time. Right? Not necessarily, again, draft free agency. Save that to after the playoffs. But if there's anything you would like to see a topic being discussed on a video or on an episode for the podcast listeners, if there's something that you want to see me do, discuss, or a guest you want to see on the podcast over the course of this week, let me know that all down below in the comment section. Or if you're a podcast listener, send in the feedback to that. You can do that at bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Also, follow the podcast at bullcentralpod on every social media platform. And lastly, if you want to leave a text and or voicemail, the number to do that is 773-270-2799. Thank you so much. Bulls Nation, see red, don't be red. Let's prepare for this playoff. Love you guys. Go Bulls, man. Peace, y'all.
This has been a presentation of the Break Media.